everyone. Welcome to this month's episode of Kidneys in the Kitchen. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Megan Craig, Director of Programs for the National Kidney Foundation of Illinois, and I am joined, as always, by a lovely dietitian who's going to talk with us today in honor of Latin American Health Weeks. We're doing an episode for healthy kidney Latino cooking. So, Catalina, go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Catalina. I work at Mount Sinai, and I see patients with chronic kidney disease that are always telling me, this handout for a diet does not match what I eat. You know, Latinos, we eat certain things that maybe may not make it to the handout or may not be well known, so this episode is perfect so that we can kind of cover those things that we normally eat.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we're going to start with sodium. It always goes back to sodium. I know you guys talk about
sodium a lot here.
A lot. But the reason why this is so important, the reason why you hear your doctor saying this and you see it on the labels at the grocery store is because sodium has a very important impact in your body. So most of us are consuming way too much sodium in our regular diet. And the reason why we say you need to limit is because when you have extra sodium, in your bloodstream, it pulls in water. So wherever salt goes, sodium, so does water. So if we're pulling in extra water into your bloodstream, we are increasing blood pressure. And as we all know, high blood pressure can be a problem, and kidneys play a very important role in controlling blood pressure. So this is why we always say low sodium, low sodium, low sodium.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yep.
Makes sense.
One of the things that is particularly important for us Latinos is we love our frijoles. We love our beans and our legumes. And something that we may not know is there are some legumes, some black beans, some whatever beans you like to eat, may have added salt, and some may come without. So I want to show you here. This is a canned bean. Some of us cook with, we call them some frijoles de olla, which is just the dry bean part. Can you see that? Yeah. Or we're cooking with canned beans. And the reason why canned beans can be a little different is because they may contain sodium. So if we want to look at the nutrition, if you go over here and you look at the ingredients, where are we? Right over here. You can see that this says black beans, water, and salt. Okay, so these contain sodium compared to the dry beans that come without any added salt. So if you're going to cook with these, just be sure to rinse them really well.
Okay, because that'll get the bean juice off?
Yeah,
I don't really know what that is.
So salt in this case is used as a preservative. So we don't need that extra salt. We're going to season it with something fun anyway because us Latinos like to spice things up. So we don't need that extra. You can just dump it in through like something to strain it and put a lot of water so you can get rid of that extra salt in there.
Perfect.
Yes. The other thing too is we love our tortillas. Some of us eat tortillas with literally every meal. So if we're going to be eating tortillas, let's watch the sodium. Let's watch how much salt there might be. And let's look at the label over here.
Uh-oh, tortilla chips.
So these are tortilla chips. Let's see, where's the sodium? So right here we have sodium. We have around 80 milligrams. And then around 3%. So this is the amount for 14 chips. So if we're going to be eating around 14 chips, this is kind of how much we know sodium we're going to be getting. That is okay, but let's think about if we multiply this by 2, 3, 4, if we're not being careful in how much we're eating, we forget that some of those foods does have extra sodium, and we need to watch so that we don't overdo it with the salt.
So it's all about portion control when it comes to these.
I say, it breaks down to portion control every single time. And we have to be mindful, it's okay that we can indulge things that we like. There are some tortilla chips or some tortillas that don't have any salt added, so you can always find those at the grocery store. But if you're going to indulge in something a little bit more salty, be careful on how much we're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then also with the tortillas, I know a lot of our patients are also dealing with diabetes.
Exactly. That's actually a really good segue to my number 2 point, which is sugar. So taking care of your blood sugar control, especially if you're diabetic, it is really important because excess sugar can really take a hit on your kidneys. This is why we say being careful with hypertension, being careful with diabetes, having those under control can really help with kidney function. So extra tortillas have carbs. Let's be careful in how much. A lot of my patients, it's funny, I ask how many tortillas do you normally eat with your meals? And they'll start adding, and soon we get to 12 or 15 by the end of the day. And we forget that those do have components, they do affect your blood sugar, and they may have added salt, so we gotta watch portion.
Okay.
Yeah. It also with sugar, it's about balance, right? So I would never say to a patient, you cannot indulge in your favorite sweet on your birthday. That's just cruel. But we do want to say that if you know you're going to be having something that has added sugar, like flan or galletas or whatever it is that you prefer to eat, be sure that that day you're a lot more careful in meal planning and prepping and kind of being mindful of, I know I'm going to have birthday cake tonight. I should probably be good about breakfast, lunch, or whatever else is going on.
Okay, that totally makes sense.
Yep. Third point is fruits and vegetables. I think you guys mentioned that here as well a lot, but having a balanced meal, having half of your plate be fruits and vegetables, kidney-friendly fruits and vegetables for those in end-stage renal disease. We want to be sure to have a lot of variety. As Latinos, we love our version of salsa. Each country, I feel like we have different, like pico de gallo, or in my country we call it pebre. So it's sort of, we have a lot of things that have fruits and vegetables that may or may not be appropriate for someone on a kidney disease. So we brought a few ingredients in here.
Yes, we have some red and yellow pepper here. We have some limes.
Yep.
We have some cilantro that we've kind of chopped up. Garlic.
Yes.
Yep.
Garlic.
So.
Yeah. So a lot, and this is particularly important for the patients who are in end-stage renal disease and dialysis. A lot of our salsas are very heavy on tomatoes, and tomatoes can be really high in potassium, so we want to be careful with that. And so we are making our own version of a salsa without necessarily increasing our potassium to abnormal levels. So we brought in some peppers. These peppers, if you chop them really finely, they can kind of mimic a similar consistency of tomato once they rest in the lime juice. Cilantro is a wonderful addition. The dark leafy green can provide some a lot of nutrition, fiber, some things that can help with digestion. We have some garlic, which is great for flavor, and some lime juice. So should we
make it happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we've got our bowl here. All right. What first?
So we're going to start with the peppers.
Okay. Go ahead and dump those guys in there.
Yeah. So these are a little bit more chunky. It depends on how you like your salsa.
Yes, special shout out thank you to our producer Sarah Jane, who chops all of this and prepares it all before we get here so that, you know, we're ready to go.
So you guys don't have to see my knife skills on this.
Speaking of knife skills, I have to chop one of these limes up.
So we've got cilantro here. We can add this third. Oh, it's so fragrant. I love the way cilantro smells.
That looks delicious.
Look at that. Lots of color, lots of color. The other thing that you can add is onion. The regular onion, green onion. Onion actually is a wonderful part of a balanced diet. Onions have a flavonoid called quercetin. And it's actually a wonderful antioxidant. It is a very a cool thing we sort of discovered not that long. When I say we, science discovered.
Not us.
No, not me particularly. Learned. But it plays a really important role when it comes to antioxidant activity. So onions can be a wonderful part in addition of a balanced diet.
And remind me, what do antioxidants do?
Antioxidants, yeah, they help with, how do I explain this in a way that it's free radicals? So anything that is out of balance, anything that can, in a way, eventually turn into something harmful that can sort of attract inflammation. Antioxidants get there and kind of resolve the situation before it gets out of hand.
That's right. So any kind of inflammation, they help with that.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to add a little bit of garlic.
Okay.
Who doesn't like garlic?
Yeah, seriously. I think we have a spoon there if you need, a teaspoon there if you need it. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, maybe a tablespoon might be a little too much.
You can never have too much garlic,
This is
can
true.
you?
This is true.
Oh, it smells so good already. I'm excited to try this.
You can add your onion in here. And then we're going to put some lime juice.
Okay, here you go. Limes. Do you need both limes? I can cut the other one as well.
We might need both limes.
Okay, well, I think you can never go wrong with lime juice, so. And especially since we're hand squeezing, we're going to get a little less out of them, so.
Yeah.
Now, I realize lime has, obviously liquid is what we're using. Is this enough liquid that people who are watching their fluid intake need to count that in and worry about it?
That is a good question. Typically, the liquid, if you let this sit for a little bit, the peppers tend to absorb some of the lime. It sort of kind of makes them a little bit softer. So these are, oh,
Sorry.
so typically this is not something we have to watch our fluid intake too much because normally it's not that soupy. Now, if it ends up being a little bit kind of, I guess, more juicy, depending on how much lime you're using and olive oil, it could be something you take into account. Usually when you're thinking of a salsa, though, it's not a substantial amount, so I wouldn't worry too much about it.
I see we have olive oil. Is that an ingredient here? A recipe?
Yes, it's an ingredient. So we want to add a little bit of olive oil. This is typically what you use in a salsa, in a pico de gallo as well.
Okay.
So it adds a little bit of flavor, and fats are part of all the food groups, so we do need those in our diet.
Excellent.
Now we're just gonna
toss it a little. Ooh, look at all those colors. Does look good.
It really does. Oh, it's so fragrant. I love the way garlic and cilantro smell together.
And the lime. Honestly, you can smell every single part of this, and all together it smells like a restaurant.
Yeah.
It smells really good.
So as you can see, I just seasoned this with garlic, lime juice, and a little bit of olive oil, and this brings us to our fourth point, which is seasoning. We can do this without salt. We really can. And I know sometimes that can be a hard transition for all of us who like to add a little extra, but little by little, if you start replacing things with things that are fragrant like lime juice or like garlic, you can actually get a really powerful flavor without having to be tempted by a little extra salt in there.
What about people who like their salsa a little spicy? Is
Yeah.
there something to add?
Absolutely. That is a very good point. Yes. Spicy peppers can be something that you can add. Some people like cayenne pepper to add to their salsa, or little seeds of different peppers.
Sure. Oh yeah, the seeds are really spicy.
Whichever way you prefer it, you can add it. We made it mild so that everyone can like it.
She means me because of my my inability to eat really spicy food.
So I think, are we ready to try it?
All right, let's try it. I'm gonna give one more look at how delicious this is. Okay, you can see all the lime juice, and those peppers are really kind of, soaking up the.
Yeah, so like I
liquid.
said, sometimes a lot of our salsas are a little bit softer in texture, so if you would like to, pro tip, you can cut these really, really tiny, and then put the lime juice before you put any of the ingredients. You can put the onions in there as well, and let it rest for a little bit, and they will soften. So that way it's a little bit more like the texture of tomato and not as crunchy as a pepper.
Okay, that is a pro tip. All right, open those chips. This is the excellent part where we get to eat.
What if I just opened and all the chips went?
I mean, apparently we did get the hardest open bag we could find. Okay.
Just give me, maybe.
Some help there. Oh, there's a. Okay, I learned the trick.
Oh,
There's a thing.
Oh. Right.
All right. Okay. Chip.
Yep.
Okay, and chip. Is there any difference between yellow corn chips and blue corn chips? Okay.
No.
I always wondered.
Yeah, no, look for the salt. That's really what you need to worry about.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
some
right.
people say it tastes different. I don't
No idea.
taste the same to me. All right, dig in.
Okay, here we go. Oh, well, I broke my chip in half. I'm awesome at this. Okay,
Cheers.
ready? Cheers. Yep,
So fresh.
it's so good.
So good.
And really crunchy. I'm sure that made like such a noise. All right. Anything else you want to tell people?
No.
Any other pro tips?
No, I think that just because maybe our habits as Latinos, things that we like to add, it doesn't mean we get to enjoy the things that we have grown up with. It's making those small changes, finding a way to enjoy the things that you love, like a salsa with your food, without having excess potassium, phosphorus, sodium, what have you.
Makes sense.
Yep.
All right, before we go, I just want to remind everyone that we do have a delightful website where you can find all the episodes that we have made so far of Kidneys in the Kitchen, and we do release one of these every month, so there is a lot of my face there. Oof. Other things you can find on our website, you can order our free dialysis cookbook, if I scroll forever. Our free dialysis cookbook, you can get that by going to our website, nkfi.org. That's NKFI, like National Kidney Foundation Illinois.org, or by calling us at 312-321-1500. And as you can see, there is a lot of really great info available on our website. So please do visit us there. Watch all the episodes you can find of this show. And Catalina, thank you so much for taking time to be here.
Yeah.
Enjoy Latin American Health Weeks and the entire month, and we will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.